this camera off real quick because it's super early in the morning. It should be about like 5:30. Five? No, it should be like 5 or something. I'm just fumbling with the camera. I took my shower for the day, and yeah, my hair's still wet, and I'm in my favorite robe, my only robe. But ooh, there's some. I just wanted to get some things off my mind that's kind of been on me all night. Nothing serious, but I'm about to have a great day. This is a great day. I'm here for it. I'm in my apartment. You know, a lot of things I was worrying about, I didn't have to worry about. However, there's always a however or a but. Anyway, I was just I talk to a lot of people, and of course, even on my YouTube channel, and I've bared my soul about my relationship, and I've made it clear the faults of um, the person that I married. And a lot of people say, "Oh, he's gonna get his karma," or "Oh, he'll find out that the grass isn't greener on the other side." And I was thinking how I don't like that saying, because to some people the grass can really be greener on the other side for them. You know, it can really be like the greenest grass they ever saw, and it just be like, wow, this is so much better than before. I kind of feel like the grass is green on the other side is more like a guilt trip of a statement to kind of give pause to people like moving forward or whatever. Just be like, oh, you're gonna find out it's better over here than it is over there, and then you go over there and you're like, honey, this is the best. Me and my friend recently changed it to well, it's old, but whatever glitters ain't gold. And I said, okay, I guess I can deal with that a lot more. But let me cut to the chase. My is my oh, it's just a lamp. My biggest regret at this moment as I sit in here is not realizing or thinking that the grass was greener on the other side in my mental space. What I mean about that is there years ago, it was about 4 years ago, and Layla was so fresh. She wasn't even 6 months old. And I came home from work, and I held her in my arms, and I was talking to her dad, and I told him that, there's something that I need to tell you, because there was, I didn't. And I sat there with Layla in our arms, and I looked at him, and it was hard to say it, but I told him that I thought that I was still in love with a former boyfriend, that I still thought that I believed that I was still in love with a former boyfriend. That's what I told him. And I never I never forget. I never forget. And I would tell him, like, I wish I would have never said anything. I wish I never said anything. And he's like, that's it. That's as far as you'll go. You wish you didn't say it. Of course, I believe for him, it's like, don't you wish you would have never had those feelings, that you would never think that you're married to me, but you think that you're still in love with someone else? And my biggest regret is that I carried that emotional baggage around for years. For what? What did it benefit me to carry around that emotional baggage? I tried my best to put it down so many times, even prior to me even meeting the person I married. And I remember when I did meet the person I married, I was still friends with the person that I thought that I was still in love with. And I remember they lived in a different state, and I would go to visit them. And but I became friends with my current spouse at that time, And I remember I was standing there and I thought, like, this isn't going to work between me and this other person over here. I knew that intellectual. I was like, I can't be led on my emotions. I see I see that it's not going to work. So you know what? I want to move forward. And I remember telling the person that I married, I said to them, I want to move forward. I want to move forward with you. I don't want to miss out on being with you because I'm hung up on someone else. And that's what I told myself, and it was true. I was like, I know that that's not going to work, and I want to move forward, and I want to move forward with you. And I thought to myself, my feelings will get in line eventually, and let that go as soon as, I just thought, hey, go move forward with your mind and your heart follow. I was like, don't be led by your heart. That's what I was telling myself. And maybe it sounds jacked up. It's like, oh, so you were just with this person? No, y'all know, even with everything going on, I still have love for that person, of course. But what I regret is carrying that baggage, because now I sit in this place, and I understand why I'm here and how I got here. And it's not bad that I'm here. This is great. It's a new lease on life. But I think to myself, I don't have either of them. you know, I don't have the former flame, which I've been new, and I don't have the recently new, now former flame too. And I'd be like, what did those feelings, what did that do? What did that do? And I sit here, and of course I vent about, oh, how he's doing this, and he's doing that, and I'm hurt, and there's another woman, and yeah. But I also, because of what I said, and because of the feelings that I carried, I see from the other person's point of view. Absolutely, I do. You don't want to be in any relationship with somebody that's supposed to be romantic, and they're telling you, I have feelings for the former, that I'm thinking about the former, that I'm writing about the former more than I'm focused on you, more than I'm writing about you, more than I feel for you. And I think, and no, I believe, and I know that my current spouse just got fed up. It was just like, I don't want to have to deal with the shadow of somebody else. And just like how I feel, I gave everything and I did everything to the best of my ability in the marriage. I can understand that that person's like, I did the same. I gave everything, I did everything, and you're still thinking about this person over here, and they're not here. They're not doing these things for you. They haven't been to you what I am for you, and you're still thinking about that person over there, and thinking that the grass is greener with them, that you could have a better life with them. Hmm. I think about that a lot. Or not a lot, actually. Not a lot. I guess I just, within the last few hours of my day yesterday. Because I was having a conversation with my sister. We were talking about my dad, and of course we have certain feelings about him and how he moved on with another woman after my mother passed away. And of course we all see it differently. And I was saying to her, it just reminded me of my current situation. And then I remembered that I was having a conversation with my mother-in-law, and she was saying that she was propositioned um, to meet my spouse's side chick, or I guess at this point we can just say the new woman in his life. She was propositioned to meet the new woman in his life. And that cut deep. It didn't cut deep. I'll say it just was like, oh, kind of feeling like, oh, it's that serious for him. She's important. If you want someone to meet your family, well, that person is important. And I guess in my mind, I'm trying to be more mature about it, because from the start, even though I don't appreciate the disrespect or how this was happening right in front of my face, I'm sure that he's like, well, I didn't appreciate how you were having feelings for another man in front of my face either. You weren't engaging in a relationship with him, where he was engaging back, but you were having that relationship to yourself in your mind. You were writing it down. You were telling me that you thought that you were still in love with this person. Even recently, within the last year, I was still saying that I thought that I was still in love with this person. And now, I'm so far from what I thought, and what I perceive to be. And I just be like, I just wish I could take it all back. I wish I could take it all back, because it's not that at all. But what I will say, of course, to anyone, you feel what you feel. And I was just being as honest as I possibly could. Of course, do I wish, oh man, I wish a lot of different things. And I have to understand that I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying, but that is something that I regret, carrying that emotional baggage, because it just brought me to a place that I don't necessarily want to be. And it caused hurt to somebody that I really didn't want to hurt. And then it kind of hurt me in the process too. And then I get on here and I do my videos and I say, oh, he's doing this and that and the third. And I stop and I think, well, the end of a relationship is not always going to be what you hoped it was, amicable, where they do the right thing. And maybe it had to be this way and this painful because maybe it was painful for them. I don't know what the other person feels unless they tell me. And I just have to speculate and be like, they're human with their own emotions. Maybe it was just like, you know what? I don't want to be in a relationship anymore with you. And you're in love with another man, because that's the first thing that comes out of his mouth sometimes when I would try to talk to him. Like when I tried to appeal to him and say, please don't cancel the lease on the apartment. I don't do that right now. And I was reacting because I was just devastated. And he was saying, and it came up out his mouth, oh, how you're in love with but you're in love with another man. And I was like, it's not that. I just miss how I was made to feel in that relationship, in the sense of feeling valued. And, I keep trying to explain that, but it's like, it's nothing that you can say. It's nothing that you can say. And why should somebody put up with that? In a relationship, you want to be the only one. You want to be the apple of their eye. You want their mind, their heart. That's what you're supposed to give when you get married. And to me, I expressed what was on my heart, because that's my whole heart. That was my whole heart in the things that I was dealing with. And I thought concealing that wasn't helpful. But some things is more than what people can bear. And the person that I married bared that for years, bared that revelation for years. And it has to eat away at you. It has to be like, oh, is she thinking about this person still? Is she still thinking that she's in love with them? Is she in love with me yet? What more can I do to get her to be in love with me instead of with him? I was just reflecting, because my sister said, yeah, there's a lot of things that he is wrong for. A lot of things that I didn't think that he would do. And a lot of ways that he hurt you. And I don't want you to sit there and just blame yourself and put it all on you, like you're completely at fault for, your marriage ending and the relationship not working. It takes two. But she was like, you have to see the other side of it. And you have to understand that he's entitled to want more. He's entitled to want a relationship and a love that's just for him and not a shared and not shared. Why should he have to share that? Mm, it's just on my mind this morning. And I just look around and I just think, just a few months ago, I was writing about how the other person, how I believe that they would have, they were in my heart and that they would always have my heart in a sense. And now it just ain't like that. It just ain't like that. And I knew it wouldn't be. I write stuff down and then months later I go back and I'd be like, it's not even like that anymore. And what I'm concerned about also is that I don't want years later for it to be the same thing. Where it's like, say I get into another relationship and I'm like, oh, my first husband still has my heart. I think on some level, the people that you interact with, especially on an intimate level, they do have a piece of your heart. They're in your heart space to an extent. That doesn't mean that you don't love who you're currently with. To an extent, they're there. They have a piece of you in some sense, and you have a piece of them. And that's why I'd be like, I don't want to get into another relationship. That's what I'd be thinking. I'd be like, I don't want to get into another relationship because for one thing, I don't like that someone was hurt by how I feel. And then also I don't want to deal with the disappointment that'll come along with someone not being able to take me. They'd be like, okay, I've reached my limit of you. I can't love you anymore. I can't be with you anymore. Like, and I feel like as long as I'm in a relationship with myself and I love myself, that I could take me. I can know all the things within my heart and be like, you know what, I could take myself. I can handle that. I have all these feelings and I'm not gonna walk away from me and be like, okay, this is enough, Sabrina. I can't, and I can't. I don't want to. First, I don't want to hurt somebody. And then also, I don't want to be hurt when that person is just like, Sabrina, I've reached my limit. I can't take all that you are. I can't take the things that's in your heart and talk through them and work through them and figure out the root of it so we can get over it. And I don't, because it hurts. But I understand, and I'm trying to be, like I said, I'm trying to be mature about it. This is not to excuse or the behaviors, the disrespect, or all of that. It's just it's just to be like, I understand where some of it comes from. I get it. And my regret is that I carried that emotional baggage and I kept picking it up. I kept telling him, oh, I'm done. That's in the past. Those feelings are over. I don't have those feelings anymore. It's not going to come up again. And it came up again and again. And then just a few months ago, when we laid our rings down, it came up again. And so if you're watching this, and if I could give you any advice, do your best to lay down your emotional baggage. Just not bury it, but work through it. Work through and get to the root of why you still feel the way that you do. Not for the other person, but for you and how you and your health. Because I had thoughts of thinking that, oh, if what life would be like with this other person. I think that's just a human thing that we all do. And he hasn't ever expressed it to me, my current spouse, but he probably has had thoughts like that too, of his, the person that he was with before me, what life would be like if they had remained together. And I would think that too, but I also had the understanding that that person's over there, they're not here. And that person, I fully understood the value of the person that I was with. And I would war with myself, and I feel guilty because I was like, I hate that I even still have even any emotion for a past flame. like, and that I'm not completely, pulled in by my spouse. But there were things, that were lacking on both ends. But just work through your whatever emotions that you have. Work through it for healing. And mentally, I knew that the grass wasn't greener on the other side. That's why I stayed in my relationship, and I tried to make it work, because I appreciated what I had. I did still appreciate what I had. And I knew, and I saw my husband and the person that I'm married to. And I thought, and I just thought, I love him. I made a family with him. Those were things that I knew I couldn't do with the other person, and that I didn't want to do with the other person, which is why I pursued it with this present individual. Still, I understand that it had to have hurt them. It had to have broke their heart so much, because nobody wants to be in a marriage with somebody, or in a relationship with somebody where they're not totally and completely all about you. You want that. And I am sorry in the sense that I couldn't I didn't give that all the time, even until recently, that I wasn't able to give that all the time. And that from this experience, I'm just gonna be alone. I'm just gonna be alone. It's nothing wrong with being single. I mean, I don't go around every day just feeling like, oh my goodness, it's over, I'm so sad. Of course not. Everyone that says it gets easier, and it does. It has gotten easier. And of course, I'm sure the more and more that I continue to move forward every day in my own rhythm and in my own lane, it's going to get easier. Um, and it feels good to have a level of freedom that I didn't have before, because I was all about the person I was married to for 7 years, and that's not healthy either. I didn't have anything outside of that. Not that he was trying to choke me up. He would always say, hey, we can't be your whole life. You need to have life outside of us. You need to have friends. I can't be your only friend. And I just I probably smothered him as well, and stifled both of our growth, because I was just all about him and our daughter, and I was afraid to venture out beyond that. And this is a good experience. I know it doesn't always feel good, and sometimes it seems like, damn, like I traded my spouse and my child, with emotions, for somebody who is just a friend, for this. And sometimes I'll be like, what? It's like I'll be looking around here like, oh shit, what have I done? I mean, this isn't bad, but I'd be like, I had a family. I had a family. I had a family. you know I could have a family again in a different way, you know. But shoot. I get better every day. And it's okay. You live and you learn. And there was something that he said to me last month. It was a month ago. And it was really the last decent conversation we had. And I was talking, and he stopped and he interrupted me, and he says, Sabrina, why is it you couldn't have done these things while we were together? And I looked at him, I said, what things? And technically, by law, at least legally, we're still together. We're still together, even though, we're not. We're together, but we're not. We're not together, I guess. We're just legal. It's just a legal thing now. But we were still together at that point, in the sense we were underneath the same roof. It wasn't, I don't know what I'm saying. But he was saying, you're doing all the things that I wanted you to do while we were together. And he was like, you're becoming the person I always knew you could be. And he was like, I just wish it wouldn't have happened this way. Pretty much saying, it's too late. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, you think that the person you see sitting in front of you happened overnight, that just when you decided that, hey, I'm done with the marriage and I'm moving on to this woman, that I just snapped and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna now be everything that he's wanted to see. This took time. Whatever he's seeing that he thinks that I've suddenly, this took time. I was working on myself for years. I've heard all of the things for years, and it's not just for his benefit. There are things that changes that I've wanted to make for myself, to be better for myself, just as an individual. And I'm like, and he would say, it's too late. And I said, it's not too late. It's just you've made it too late. You've put the expiration date on it. But that's on you. You chose not to be patient with me. You chose not to show that love, because love is patient. And in any marriage, it's supposed to be that you're patient with your partner and all the evolutions that they go through, because people change and they evolve, they grow or they digress. And I just thought to myself, I said, I've been working on me losing weight. I'm 74 pounds lighter than I was 4 years ago, 4 years ago. That took years. That took years to get from 236 to 162. That was a process. It took a process for me to get up and get out and make friends. It took a process for me to get back to this moment. And if you would have been patient and loving towards me in the process, then you wouldn't be saying things like, oh, how come you're able to do it now? I was working on it the entire time. Even just a few months ago when we were in the kitchen and he's ironing his shirt to go to work, and I'm sitting there making my salmon and my salad, drinking water, telling him of my new diet and stuff like that. And, these were things that I was working on for years. It's not no overnight thing. And I remember I tapped him, I said, I did do it while we were still together. In a sense, only in the technical legal sense are we still bound. But I was like, really, I did it. You just set the standard. You put the expiration date on it. You couldn't hold out and be patient and watch me grow. Because isn't that what it's supposed to be about? In a relationship, it's not so much that person is supposed to be what you need, but you're just supposed to, it's more so, I want to share your journey. I want to be a support along in the journey with you. The good, the bad, the ugly. And I guess that's what I wanted. And even though I have that regret, that emotional baggage, I wanted to share that with him, because that was something that was in me. And there was something he said about how he wanted my whole heart. And that was me sharing and exposing my whole heart. I know it had to hurt like hell to hear, but it hurt like hell to say it. Because to me, the last thing I wanted to do to the person that I loved was hurt them with how I felt. It was so hard to say it, but I wanted to be honest. And that was my whole heart. I gave it, not that the person is my whole heart, but I exposed myself. I laid bare in front of you who I am. And going forward, again, if you can, whatever emotional baggage or whatever you have, work through it. Work through it to the best of your ability and find the root of where it comes from. And don't look to another person to fill a need. Going forward, I really want my relationships not to be something that I'm like, oh, I need this person to do this for me. No, or to fill this. I want those relations to be enhancements for my life and their life. I want them to feel and understand that, hey, I'm here for your journey. I'm here to support you. I'm here to cheer you on, even if there are things that you say to me, not to suffer abuse, or put downs or negativity, not to take away from who you are and your experience. No, that's not love. But I'm here to love on you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to inspire and be inspired by you. And all stages and phases, because love is patient. But that's my spiel. I just wanted to let that out because it's a great day and I'm working on it. My sister says, girl, you're healing. I'm proud of you. And I'm like, am I? Because, honey, sometimes I look in the mirror and I'll be like, oh my God. Get these feelings out of me, please, please, please. I just want to be to the healed stage of it. I was telling a coworker, and he's mad patient with me. We work together every day, and I was like, I look forward to the day I look up and I realize I went a whole week without talking about my former relationship, and it's gonna take some time to get there, but I look forward to that moment. I'm like, oh, I haven't talked about it in a whole week. I can't even go a day without like thinking about it in some form. I mean, but my sister said, you're not talking about it as much, and I said that's because I'm trying. I just want it to be automatic, but right now I have to try not to. I have to try my best, especially when I pretty much see the person every day because of our daughter. It's to the point where it's like I can't even look at him at this time. I can't even look. I just look at Layla. I look at her book bag, and then I turn and I go back to the car and just be like, because I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore. I just turn and I'd be like, just go to the car, just drive away. Go home and work on your house. Work on your house and work on yourself, honey. Just, it's okay. Maybe one day you'll be able to look at him again, but right now I can't look at him. I can't do it. But if you're watching, thank you so much for listening and hearing me out. And I hope you all have a great day. Please be safe out there. I'll be back soon for a live stream. I apologize that the GH live stream cut off abruptly the other night. I've learned my lesson. Don't respond to a text message while on a live stream. But you all be blessed. I love you so much. Take care. Bye.